It's 8:52. It's Monday, and this morning I have the pleasure of uploading and updating my documentary with the simple act yesterday that was experienced that gave me the pleasure of bringing my child his little hamper of gifts for his birthday on the 14th of the 10th, 2015. So I located my child yesterday on my own, without the assistance of the guards fulfilling their duties or their obligations. And the issue that I'm going to raise in this small little community that's been causing very dangerous offence against women and children's rights since 2006 is their misinterpretation or misunderstanding with regard to boundaries and limitations. We all know about legislation, and we know about Natura, and we know about Nphet. Natura is to do with wildlife and fauna. We also know about Nphet in Ireland, and we also know about the rights of the property owner. And we also know about the rights of the private citizen. And we also know about the protection of the private citizen with a clean track record. So my clean track record has been disrespected by individuals that are of slander. And as I've mentioned, I've documented my day consistently and persistently every 30 minutes. Because of authorities that aren't respecting my role and my identity. There has been false reporting about me in this community that is after causing harm to my teaching profession and my role as a mother and property owner. Now, there are people in this community that have disrespected legislation of Natura and Nphet, and they've disrespected my land as well, where I have not given them permission to be. So there are limitations for people in this situation that think they're going to be discussing a woman that they don't know, that they don't engage with, that they don't interact with, and that they have been living off the work of. Now, as I've mentioned, there's a Taoiseach in this country that has not fulfilled his obligations to my royalty and has not fulfilled his obligations to my constitutional rights. That Taoiseach is in contempt. Now, as I've said, there's been work come from me that has been legislation in 2019. Now, there are people deluding themselves and not working with the reality of the law, and that's quite frightening, and it has frightening effects on children and families that have been living off my wealth and my work. Now, I don't know if I'm making myself clear enough, but I'm being frauded. And there are guards and government officials out there assisting this offence against me. And this isn't the first time this community has done this. In 2006, they worked consistently in an awful slandering campaign that had about that much truth to it, but that much dangerous offence against the state. So their cycle of offences is having repercussions, and I don't know if they're grasping this properly, but they don't have right or remit, and you don't speak about people that you don't know, and you don't have a protection order as a guilty offender against the state. You, as a culprit against Maria McElligott, who you have stolen money and property from, and whom you have defamed, you do not have protection by the law, from the law, in your offences against a private royal of legislation. So I'd like to remind people of Natura and Nphet and the damages that people have incurred and the debts that people have incurred, and the role of the authorities and the role of the Taoiseach to try and keep a clean slate with the Constitution and private citizens that are owed huge debts from the state, like myself, since 2017 and even going back to 2006. So the Taoiseach might be brave and courageous to remind himself of how this situation has been, and rather than bulldozing in on a private mother, property owner, married, you might have a bit of common sense and common decency to remind yourselves of how you've been prospering from me. And yeah, Natura and Nphet, I'll say no more. It's a sad sign of the times in County Kerry when people think they're safe in their crimes against an innocent mom.